My good friend Paul Everett is also on Facebook, on a lot of things. He has his own YouTube. Every once in a while, he reads a story to his grandkids, and they're really, really good. Well, I found a fantastic story when I was at Valhalla's, and I had to buy the book. And the book is says this. Okay, I'm afraid. I admit it. I admit it. I'm afraid. Let me get the title right. And it's written by Anthony DeStefano, capital D-E, capital S-T-E-F-A-N-O. Wanted to give him credit because he's the one that wrote this book. And the artwork's fantastic. So I want to read to you a story from this little book. And it's really good. Okay, I admit it. I'm afraid. There's the title. Oh, yeah. This book is dedicated to the wonderful Schusmel family. I'm messing up their name. Amy, Andy, and Andy Jr. Okay, that's the dedication page. Okay, let's get into the book. Okay, I admit it. I'm afraid. Oh, let me read first, and I'll show you the picture. I always try to pretend I'm brave, but when I'm really honest with myself, I realize I'm afraid of practically everything. Cool. I'm afraid of the dark. Not just when the lights are out, but anytime. I can't see and understand what's going on around me. Great pictures. I love these pictures. I'm afraid of storms. Not just the ones with lightning and thunder, but any kind of confrontation. I'm afraid of being bullied. I'm afraid of not being able to pay my bills. Yeah. I could be in that one sometimes too. I'm afraid of being in a crowd. Well, that's not me, but I'm afraid of being alone. This one could be me. Isn't that cool? I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of working hard to succeed. Isn't that great? I'm afraid of doing anything new. Or outside my comfort zone. I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of facing the truth about myself because what I see isn't always pretty. Sometimes that's me too. I'm afraid of my own bad habits, temptations, and weakness, and doing what I have to do to overcome them. I'm afraid of forgiving people when they hurt me. Boy, she's not happy. And apologizing when I hurt others. By the way, when we say I'm sorry, don't just keep doing it, but really mean it. Okay. I'm afraid of being sick. In fact, I'm a big baby. Oh, this definitely could be me. When I get sick, oh gosh. I can't even mention how afraid I am of the D word. Not just for myself, but for anyone I love. Think of the D word. What would it be? Could that be the D word? Death. And crazy it sounds, I'm afraid of God sometimes. But I guess the main thing I'm afraid of is I don't have what it takes to deal with any of my problems. That I'm just not smart enough or strong enough or enough or strong enough or good enough. Oh yes, I admit it. I'm afraid. And yet, the Bible tells me in so many ways, different places, I shouldn't be afraid of anything. In fact, it says, be not afraid and fear not over 100 times. How can that be when life is so scary? I wonder, is it because God has a plan for me and he knows what he's doing even when I don't? Or that I'm never really alone because his angels are watching over me? Or that his grace can give me the power to do extraordinary things? Or that he can always pull good things out of bad situations? Or that I need to be more grateful of my blessings and less fearful of life's uncertainties? After all, I've made it through all my problems so far. Maybe I'll make it through this one too. I know this is true, and yet I'm still afraid no matter what I think. My emotions always seem to get the better of me. I end up feeling exhausted and worn out. What can I do? Should I let my fears wash over me and drown me? Or should I try, perhaps, to do something else? Should I try to let my fear wash away? Standing here alone with God, knowing full well what I have to deal with, that is beyond my abilities and control. I have no power to do anything on my own. I just listen. Really, I listen. What are you trying to tell me? I ask God. What are you trying to teach me? When I push all the other thoughts and feelings out of my head, I always hear the same whisper response. Don't be afraid. Don't try to understand. Just take up your cross and follow me. And then I can finally see a glimmer of hope. Because deep down in my heart, I know that even though I'm small and weak and afraid, God isn't. He's all knowing, and there's no problem he can't figure out. He's all powerful. There's no problem he can't overcome. He's all good, so there's no problem that can really harm me, since he wants only what's best for me in this life and the next. With God, nothing is impossible when I'm connected to him. I'm connected to the power, the source of the whole universe. And nothing is impossible for me either. I can fight and vanquish every enemy imaginable. I can find strength to go on no matter how hard. I can find all the energy, wisdom, virtue, self-discipline, patience, and love to deal with all my problems. I'm not afraid anymore. The end. You know, I guess if my grandkids are watching that, my niece and nephew, my grandnieces and nephews, my friends, this book works for all of us. God bless, and that's my story time.